This episode contains flashing imagery and may not be suitable for those who are photosensitive. Yeah, I must be getting more confident or not caring as much as I get older because yeah, I've just gotten up, I've taken the dogs out, I've washed my face, brushed my teeth and put some foundation on and that's it, because now it's time for some warm porridge and also a little cup of Earl Grey tea in my little cauldron. It's quite cute because it lights up. My friend got me this as a joke because today is going to be quite an interesting morning. So I'm going to the forest. So this has been in my head since before I started this series, to go into this beautiful big pine forest. Now luckily in England I don't have to worry about bears, but things I do worry about in a very remote location is losing signal, other people. So in a very remote location, if I do lose signal and there's anybody odd or dodgy about, it's being in the woods by myself, because I'll get dropped off for a time and then picked up again. So these are things I think about before I set off. So as much as it's quite a magical tone to the video, there is a serious side to going out into woodlands and forests by yourself, especially when you're female, which I know is very sad to say, but it is a reality. So I'm just thinking through what my plan would be in the event of an emergency by myself. That's one of the things I think about. And breakfast, which I'm thinking is going to be like oats and banana, maybe a bit of maple syrup. I'm half Canadian, so I was brought up on the stuff, and you know, the proper stuff, not fake you know, maple tasting syrup, but actual Canadian maple syrup. You can get that over here. So some maple syrup, maybe some cranberries, some pecans, just for like heat and warmth and energy, and a nice cup of tea. You can hear jumping around in the background. That will of course be Ziggy. I'm sure you probably filled in the gap when I said that. So you'll just know it's Ziggy. So bits of pecan. These are naughty pecans. These are salted caramel pecans from Yuletime that my mum got me. Oh, this banana's had a hard time, isn't it? Don't mind. And also for a little bit of energy, quick energy, dark chocolate chips, just a few. Antioxidants. I've got a few bits of dried fruit, but I'm going to go with a reliable few dried cranberries. Maple syrup. Give that a good old stir, and that will keep me going for quite a while in the forest and keep me a bit warm as well. Which sounds strange because obviously after a while it's not like warm anymore in your tummy, is it? But I don't know if it's psychological or what, but a warm porridge and a warm cup of tea before I go and a thermos with me helps wonders. So, just been dropped off. There's nobody around. One hopes. I always think if there's cars, it's a good sign of dog walkers or campers. But when there's nobody, there still could be somebody, and they probably don't have a good purpose. So I always keep my wits about me when I'm doing forest walks alone, and I kind of know the forest, so I know where there's likely to be people that are sleeping rough, which sometimes can pose a risk, but not always. It's just, you know, trying not to disturb people in that case. Whereas here, that's unlikely. It would more likely just be one person on their own. So it's just a reminder, really, to always look out for your personal safety. But I'm super excited to be here. This is a very remote place for me to get to, so I'm very lucky to have been dropped here by a friend. And it's one of the reasons why I haven't filmed here in the whole year that I've been making this series. But this is the first location that I wanted to come to. So I'm so excited. Got a whole group of different trees, from most of the ancient oaks and also sort of more new oak trees that I usually spend time with. So a lot of them are going to be fir, pine trees. Yeah, so it'll be really beautiful. See you in a minute. So deeper into the trail now, and it's amazing being in such a remote place by yourself. Oh my gosh, a kingfisher. I don't know if we're going to catch it. I hope so. I've only ever seen one kingfisher before. Oh wow, I hope we see it. Oh, I didn't manage to catch it. Beautiful. See if I can see if it comes back. It seemed to like the fact I was talking, so maybe it was interested. And then I stopped to respect it, and I think that threw it, because it was like, why is she stopped? I just saw this brilliant blue and saw it sat on the log. But I couldn't quite focus my camera in time, it was just a bit too far away. So, oh, what a missed opportunity. Maybe he was meant just for me. Stunning time of day. I think everything looks like it's out of a fairy tale, covered in frost, and just like it's sleeping. But the ferns are still really green. The way the light falls is beautiful. So to the Celts, the lakes would have been portals to other dimensions with spirits that would be in the lakes and would move between the worlds. So thinking about lakes in this way reminds me of the story of King Arthur and the legend of the Lady in the Lake, who was sort of like a fairy goddess who would grant wishes, and of course she brought forth Excalibur from the lake. Beautiful. Who or what might be in that lake? Certainly peaceful. feel like he's playing a game with me, telling me to go this way. Right, have to be careful here. It is a bit icy. Believing that everything has its own frequency, I stopped to listen to the rhythm of this tree. Some of the patterns on this tree are just stunning. Whoops, just show you. Someone's obviously put their initials in this, but if you were looking for runes and you were working synchronistically today, you might see the runes so well over the sun. It's definitely sunny. So, some old belief systems, I think probably originating from the Celts and Celtic lore, told of fairies and forest spirits because forests were sacred places, and again often spaces which led to other worlds, and so fairies and tree spirits would be revered, and it would be custom to bring a gift. In some parts of the country, in fact maybe all of the British Isles, pixies and fairies used to be feared because they might trick you off your path, and there might be little portals you might see, fairy portals, which will lead you to another realm and you might never come back. Amazing. When I listened to this pine tree, it sounded like a piano solo. So I think I found a grove I'm not saying this was a druid's grove, but it's certainly a circle of trees. And there's almost like an altar in the middle of a tree stump. I'll show you. It's like a little pine cone offering. So sweet. We'll leave that there. I feel like the birds have been following me, guiding me. And that's how you prove it's really a ring of trees. Before heading back, I wanted to listen to one more tree. And it just goes to show that you should never judge a book by its cover, because this tree was definitely not as quiet as it looked. It's like a forest carpet. I feel like all these little trees would have spirits living in them through these little doorways, like little fairy portals. And this looks like a meeting area. In fact, it looks like somebody has used it, possibly to make a fire. Looking at the colour of the wood. To me, this just looks like a little fairy glade. Just like this tiny little mossy, leafy carpet in the middle of the forest space. So rare to have these woods completely to myself. Isn't it magical? Now, if that's not a doorway to another world, I don't know what is. So I'm just doing a rough sketch, just to get an idea of where things sit, in case I want to like make a painting out of it later. So this is just really, really rough, because I've got my reference photo as well. Okay, now this definitely looks like a portal. I'll put some offerings in, just for good luck. Look at these tiny little pieces of bark that have come off the tree as well. It'd be amazing for doing ogham. I like to have 20 of these, but I don't like to take things from nature. I like to give them back. Now, for those of you who are big fern lovers, I think I found a prime selection, a family of ferns. Look at these. I think ferns are from the Jurassic period. Okay, so not exactly this specific fern, but still. And you also need to be careful near ferns, because they often have ticks, although this time of year not as much of a risk, but you still have to be careful. I just love these. I believe these are called pennywort or penny pies. I think they're edible, but I'm not going to try it. But aren't they gorgeous? Maybe they're like little satellite dishes for fairies, because these ones are all like little cup shapes. So I've spent some time hanging out in the pine forest, and now we're gonna head on to our next destination. I think I can hear a crow in the background. I love crows. I love all the mysticism and the connection with Odin, being able to see really high. They always make me think about messenger birds and the ability to hover as high as you possibly can over a problem and try to see things as kind of clearly and sort of in a detached perspective as you can. I think then zooming in and zooming out really helps you solve problems. Apologies for my shadow, but I need to be very careful here. I just wanted to show you all the stones. So this is quite old stonework. It's almost 200 years old. There used to be an estate here in Victorian times that was demolished. So that gives you a bit of an idea of some of the age of part of this estate. Obviously the trees in some places are much older. So behind me you can see quite a lot of old oak trees, and then in the background there's the pine trees. And to the Celts, the oak trees usually represented strength and the pine trees were more connected to rebirth. As I walk this path, I'm thinking about the trees and their meanings. I'm thinking about how this is. I'm thinking about how this is a new year. And, you know, what am I hoping to birth into this year? I had a dream actually that my friend was pregnant. But I don't think it was about my friend. I think it was about rebirth. I've also had the Empress Tarot card coming up a lot lately, so I feel like this is important and something to meditate on. But January, even though I follow the wheel of the year, January I still feel is a good time to reflect and to decide on, you know, what you want to manifest, what you want to set your sights on, what you want to work towards throughout the year. See what the beech tree has to say. It's quite funny, but just as I've come to finish my journey, these two little robins have just appeared at the very end. I do have a real affinity with robins. They always come to me, even in the wilderness, and they've helped me a lot in different difficult situations. So this bookends my journey today, which is beautiful. So may you see the beauty in everything this year, including yourself and your abilities. Happy 2026. I look forward to journeying it with you. Next time on Wild Wish, we will be looking at the old Celtic alphabet called Ogham or Ogham, which is the alphabet related to trees, and I'll be doing some Celtic divination with those symbols. In the meantime, thank you for watching, Wild One. Like if you like, and subscribe if you vibe.